case number 24AUG2021, name Aliens Fireteam Elite. Set in the iconic Aliens universe, Aliens Fireteam Elite is a cooperative third-person survival shooter that drops your fireteam of hardened marines into a desperate fight to contain the evolving xenomorph threat. Such is the promise of the developers. May the Emperor guide my judgment. Before we even go anywhere near the story, let me preface this with one very important fact. This is not a horror game and was not supposed to be ever. From day one, developers said that this will be a co-op shooter, and most importantly, it's in the name. Like with movies, Alien was a horror movie. Aliens was an action-packed B-movie with explosions and one-liners. Same goes for the games. If it has Alien in the name, it will be a horror. If it says Aliens, it will be an action game. Easy. It's year 2202 and USS Endeavour receives a distress signal from Katanga, a refinery station thought destroyed years ago, and sends a response team to investigate. Not going to say more, but according to the interweebs, this game is a sequel to the original trilogy, set 23 years after the movies, and is trying to tie them with the lore unveiled in Prometheus, AVP, and so on. With that being said, story is very basic, very bland, even compared to Colonial Marines or original Aliens vs Predator games. Shut up. Graphics are alright, but also nothing to write to the officium about. There are very little graphical options allowing you to add some lipstick on this grot, but as always, graphics rarely makes the game. More importantly, filthy Xenos looks the part, so does weapons and accessories. Fans of Alien franchise that actually served as an inspiration for Tyranids in Warhammer will be satisfied. Music and sound effects were a big surprise in this game. Score feels like taken directly from the movie, Daka sounds are pure joy that would make an orc war boss drooling, screeches of dying Xenos are satisfying, and even voice acting is good. Although the two characters you have to interact with all the time are annoying and cringy as fuck. Lieutenant Herrera has a toxic attitude, her Spanish swearing sounds too forced, and you have to listen to her drill through every mission. Another one is the guy who sells you equipment. He's also cringy and has voice lines that last over 3 minutes, and he repeats them every single time you come to him to shop for upgrades and weapons. I had to turn character volume down to 0 just to avoid their annoying voices. Atmosphere in this game is as you would expect, not the horror one, but once the Xeno starts coming and you are clenching your cheeks for your dear life, especially at higher difficulty levels, you will definitely get your heart rate up. True to the sci-fi action movie, which is the game taking the inspiration from. Approved. Now, gameplay is something that is good at its core, but definitely needs some quality of life changes. Let's start with the good stuff. On release, there is 5 classes, with one being unlocked once you finish the campaign, and developers already announced new class coming out later this month. Amongst the usual classes, we have a dedicated healer, which makes me extremely happy as I love supporting and healing classes in co-op games, and of course each class has its own perks, abilities and weapons. To unlock your perk tree, you have to level up your class, and each weapon can be leveled up as well, unlocking additional bonus stats as improved accuracy, damage, rate of fire, etc. Campaign has 12 missions divided into 4 chapters, and by finishing them you receive new weapons, experience points and skins. On top of that, each map has 3 pieces of intel to collect and unlock additional information about the Aliens universe, and 1 bonus chest that spawns at random place in each map with additional loot. Once you finish the campaign, a Horde mode is unlocked where you defend your position against increasing waves of Xenos with an option to extract after each 10 waves or continue fighting for better rewards. But not all is well in this game, and I have to say Fireteam is not worth the full price. Maybe in the future, but not quite yet. Here is my defense. Exhibit A, the gameplay itself. Like many other games, it follows the same pattern. Walk through a corridor with couple of enemies, come to a big arena with supplies, press a button and then hold the position against incoming swarm. Rinse and repeat. If you are a fan of such gameplay, and many of us are, it's not a big issue, but some variety is gravely needed. We need some puzzles, a minigame or additional objectives to the just survive. Like that one mission where you have to shoot some cores while also fighting the swarm. We need more of that variety. Exhibit B, no randomness. Ambushes are hard-coded and spawned at the exact places every single time, and if that wasn't enough, your character even shouts ambush or watch out! What the f***? It's not an ambush if you know about it. Which brain-dead servitor thought ambush warning is a good thing? Get rid of it, now! And make them spawn at random places. And also AI pathing is hard-coded. All Xenos follow one of the usually 3 routes towards players, so you can just point your weapon at one spot and keep pressing mouse button for easy kills. Or, as most of the players do now, just step back into one corner, force funnel all Xenos into one route and have easy time slaughtering them. Not good enough. And definitely not fun. Pathing needs to be varied and AI smarter. Exhibit C, no open games. Once you are in the game and someone leaves, or gets disconnected, they are replaced with the bot and nobody else can join. Your game is locked and you either finish with the bot, or just quit, or fail, getting no rewards. This game desperately needs drop-in, drop-out games, because we all know how fickle the machine spirit of the interwebs connection can be. And this also ties into shitty matchmaking, as when going on a mission, you hope to Emperor that there are 2 other people queuing for the same map on the same difficulty as you are, otherwise you end up playing solo. This makes absolutely no sense. And of course, quality of life changes like more horde maps, quick play buttons so we can just jump into random lobby without the need to search for specific maps in hopes someone is playing them on our desired difficulty, voice chat that is missing in a co-op game. When zooming with scopes with more than 30% additional zoom, game zooms in your character as well, so your marine covers half the screen, making the attachment bottom line unusable, loadout slots and few more. It's all this that makes me say game is not worth 35 quid, but since these are easily resolved issues, game has a huge potential. Oh, and they need to keep squishing the bugs. This game has a lot of bugs. Controls are standard and available to rebind to your will, so no complaints there. Just customizing the weapons and perk tree is kinda clunky and especially with perks unintuitive, so you have to figure that one out on your own before getting used to it. Could use some improvements, but it's not a biggie. Mechanics in this game are really interesting and one of the reasons I still play. Let's start with leveling system. By successfully finishing the mission, you receive experience points towards your account level, class level and weapon level. Class level is there, I presume, just to tell the fresh recruits from the veterans, and currently is capped at 20. Classes can be leveled up to 8 and each level unlocks additional perks and perk slots. Weapons can be leveled up to 4 stars as mentioned before. My only problem is you are getting exactly the same amount of EXP points for both weapons, no matter how much you are using them, which is pure heresy. You should get the proportion of EXP depending on how many enemies did you shoot with that weapon, otherwise what's the point? I can literally walk around not firing single round, but if my teammates carry me to the victory screen, I'm getting all the weapons EXP. Don't get me wrong, I am glad all members are getting the same experience points, which promotes team play instead of race for the maximum amount of kills, but I think weapons experience points should be awarded depending on how much you used said weapon during the mission. Speaking of weapons, each has 3 slots that can be modified: muzzle, magazine and scope. Certain weapons can only have certain parts attached and they provide different stat upgrades. Good news is, you only have to find or buy the part once, and you can use it in all allowed weapons. At first I was afraid I would have to find certain magazine 5 times or detach it every time I wanted to use it in another weapon, but developers got our backs. Thank you, Cold Iron Studios. Now, perk system is something I absolutely love, and whoever thought of this should get a purity seal of approval. Each character has 1 class perk and 2 class abilities. Then you have the mods and limited space to slot in those you want. To come up with your desired build, you have to basically solve a little puzzle of what to put where, Tetris style, so it fits and gives you stats you want. I love this, but we desperately need loadout slots for saving more different perk compositions, as you never know with what team you are going to play. For example, as a medic, I would love to have one loadout for maximum heals and buffs, but also one focused more on damage and survival, one mixed, and so on, depending on whether I play with friends who have damage or I am around confused randos pressing random buttons. I could choose the most appropriate loadout in the lobby before the mission starts. Speaking of upgrades, if you do not want to pray to Ranald and hope you will find the desired part in your next reward chest, you can visit Ship's Quartermaster and simply buy the weapon, part or perk yourself for credit. While at it, you can also purchase additional skins and emotes for your marine, all with in-game currency, which is much appreciated. And how to get credit? There are two ways. You have 2 daily tasks and 1 weekly, which you can complete for bonus resources, and another option are challenge cards. These can be bought or received as a reward for task or mission completion, and they incur a penalty for the whole team, but at the same time gives extra rewards. This can spicy up the game immensely, and it's a great way how to bring a breath of fresh air into the same old missions you played a dozen times before. There are some cards giving you bonuses that have no rewards, for cowards, and every team member can suggest their own card before the mission starts. Sadly, you can't vote for the card you would like to use in the mission. System chooses either the most rare card, or in case of same rarity, it chooses one card at random. I would prefer if we could vote which card we want to use, but it's not a big deal. And a word of advice, if you fail the mission, you lose the card, which is something I really like. My dear battle brothers and sisters, after 24 hours and counting, I proclaim this game worth of your time and keeping it in your wishlist, as the potential here is huge. However, I would advise to wait until some quality of life updates and bit more content is added, or until game goes on sale, as in the initial stage it is not worth the full price. But if the developers keep working on it as promised, this can be one of the better co-op games out there, potentially finding its place amongst the legends like Left 4 Dead or Vermintide. Keep an eye on the pinned comment below the video for future updates. You can show your agreement or disagreement with my ruling by giving this video a thumb up or down, and tell me how wrong I am in the comment section below. Click the subscribe button to enlist into Imperial Guard Regiment, and click the bell button to stay vigilant for future content. I will see you at the next ruling, and as always, the Emperor protects!